Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I want to talk about 5 benefits that you can get from getting good quality self-care. So all of us are always busy, we never find time to relax, we're always on the go, always have something to do. And I think it's just part of the culture today. We live in a very busy culture and we find it hard to find time for ourselves and time for self-care. So even though it's not going to be easy, practicing self-care and self-love is hard, they help you maintain a happier and more balanced life. Okay, so the first benefit is that self-care increases your self-worth. The whole meaning of self-care is to love yourself. So when you are able to practice self-care daily, you're also able to increase your self-worth. One habit that you can practice in order to increase your self-care is looking in the mirror daily and changing your inner talk, your inner self-talk. We all have self-talk, and a lot of times our self-talk can become very critical. So by looking in the mirror and really seeing what we value from ourselves, we can start increasing the amount of positivity that we think about daily. It's also important to really base your self-worth on something that does have value. Your self-worth is not based on how much money you make, how well you do in school, or even how pretty you are. Your self-worth is really your values, how you live out your life daily, and how that affects the rest of the world. Having positive and a healthy self-worth is understanding that you are important. And one of the main things that I think you can practice daily and just really be conscious about is being kind and giving yourself grace when you make mistakes. We all make mistakes, but your worth isn't depending how many errors you have in a day. Your self-worth is there and it doesn't change based on your mistakes. So being kind to yourself, and when you do make mistakes, learn from them and move on. They're not something to hold on to and really have a lot of feelings that are attached to it. A lot of times our mistakes are simple, and if we kind of detach our feelings from that mistake, it becomes easier to fix it. Now, I'm not saying to really turn off your feelings because that's impossible, but don't allow your feelings to really lead and control the way you react and the way you feel about yourself, because feelings are not reliable. Feelings change every day. One moment you're happy, one moment you're sad. So understanding that feelings are not something that's factual, something that's logical. Basically, your self-worth is based on what you value, how you live out your life, and giving yourself grace daily. Next up is stress management. Self-care really helps your stress, and when you take care of your inner needs, you're able to manage the expectations and the needs of others much better. So stress can sometimes serve as a positive when it's in small doses. So if you have a little bit of pressure, sometimes it does help you to get things done. But when stress starts to kick in, that's no longer that motivational push that you need. Stress now becomes debilitating, and it starts to really affect your mind and your mental health. Some of the ways you can manage stress is by taking time alone, journaling, coloring, reflecting on your thoughts, writing. Things like that really help manage your stress, because you're able to step away from the problem or the thing that is stressing you out and really reflect on yourself and what you're thinking, and be able to balance yourself and bring you back to a normal state, or a state where you're not stressed, and then you're able to go back, and a lot of times you're able to see things a lot clearer. One of the things to understand about stress is how it affects your mind. When you go under stress, your brain releases a chemical called cortisol, and that is your fight or flight senses. And when you're in too much stress, your mind stays in that state of fight or flight, which is not healthy and can create anxiety and depression, and a lot of times PTSD if there's abuse and things like that. So by allowing your body to take breaks, separate from the stress, you're able to bring your cortisol levels back down, and you're able to think clearly, because when you're in that fight or flight state, you can't really think clearly, and your brain and your mind and your body really takes a toll. Number 3 is self-awareness and self-knowledge. Practicing daily self-care habits really help you understand and become self-aware of who you are as a person. As life throws responsibilities and expectations on you, it really does become harder to maintain who you are as a person. It becomes harder to stay true to yourself and stay true to the person you want to be. By practicing self-care, you're able to reconnect to yourself, and really it helps you begin to implement daily habits that can lead you to a healthier lifestyle. By practicing self-care and increasing your self-knowledge, you're also able to identify your passions and what you really want, and really identify goals for yourself, because you're now able to know who you are and what kind of work you want your life to be if you really understand yourself. And the farther away we are from self-care and the ability to connect to ourselves, the harder it becomes to really identify our passions and our goals. One of the main things that can help you keep track of your wants and the ability to identify your goals is by journaling and asking this question over and over and over until you really identify the goal and are able to clear all of the distractions and all of the expectations from other people and the expectations from your parents and from society, and really center yourself and see, what is it that I want? What is my dream? And what can I do to get there? But you won't even be able to ask that question if you don't give yourself the time, if you don't give yourself the self-care, the time alone that is needed in order to get to that place. So that is number 3, you become self-aware and you gain self-knowledge. Number 4 is that you will have peace. You will increase your ability to be happy and content with your life. Self-care really helps you be happy, because you're not only giving to your job, to your family, to your kids, to your husband, but then you're also fueling yourself with the necessary things that you need in order to serve others better. Practicing self-care creates balance, and balance allows you to have peace within yourself and the choices you're making every day. Through self-care, you also give yourself more grace, and you also start to understand life, that it's filled with a bunch of experiences that are positives and negatives, but all those experiences could lead you to the place you want to be if you are practicing self-care daily, rather than just wandering through life living it just by actions and not being intentional with your decisions. Self-care also makes you happy with what life has given you despite the circumstances, and that is peace. Being at peace with the life that you have, and understanding that despite my circumstances, I choose to be happy. I choose to be in a good place. I choose to look at the positives in every situation. It's all perspective, and having the appropriate perspective in your life also helps you have peace. And the 5th one, which I think is the most important and the most value that you can gain from getting self-care, is by helping yourself, you can help others. Self-care points you to be responsible for yourself, and in doing so, you can be responsible and help and serve the ones you love best. Appropriate self-care increases the ability for you to change the lives of others. We were all created to connect and serve, but in order to do that, we need to help and serve ourselves first. And in saying to help yourself first, I don't mean it in a selfish way. I mean it in a way that self-care helps you meet your needs to function well for the important people in your life. When you practice appropriate self-care and you want to help others, when you aren't practicing self-care, when you're running on empty, when you're burnt out after work, you don't want to do things for others. You probably don't want to serve others as willingly and happily as you could. So by practicing self-care, you're able to do it in a way that others appreciate you, and you know you're doing the best job you can do. So my advice to you is to try to make time and identify ways to increase your self-care in order to increase the quality of your life. Like I said at the beginning of the video, it may force you to do some sacrifices, but trust me, it will only increase the quality of your life. So keep that in mind and see how you can implement some self-care in your daily life. So until next time, remember, you are worth the effort to love yourself. And I hope you guys have a blessed and lovely and peaceful day.